in lesson 15, we're still in the circle method. So one of the things that you need to realize, so we're still looking at this area right here. If you calculate something in your method, you have to return that answer. So all you have to say in here is return A. So like up here, we just imported that radius as R. We didn't actually calculate anything, so we didn't need to return anything. But here, we returned A because if something's calculated, you have to return the answer. We're going to create one more method within the circle. And this is going to be called circumference. So we're going to call it public double circumference, open and close parentheses. And this is our circumference method. So you would call it by doing something dot circumference, sending it nothing. And since we're creating a method, we're going to put brackets under that, and then we're going to calculate our circumference. So now what we're going to do in here is we're going to do double C. And again, we can't use circumference because we just used that. Equals 2 times math.pi, which is another method, times radius, because 2 pi r is circumference. And then we're going to return C because we calculated something. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do in our circle class is we're going to get rid of these errors. So what we need to do is come down below, and we're going to create what is called, it actually has 3 different names. So usually it's called a state variable. It can also be called an instance field or a data member. What the state variable is a code or a variable that is available to all the methods in this class. So if you notice, C is only in circumference, but radius goes through all of them. So this way, we're going to create a called public double radius, because we created it here. Notice the first time we used radius, we didn't say double. A lot of you probably will make this mistake and put double right here, and then you'll wonder why it doesn't work, because if you notice these brackets, remember scope, it's only available inside those brackets. So if we name it outside those brackets down here at the bottom, it counts for the entire method or entire class and all the methods inside the class. All right, guys, we have just finished creating our very first cookie cutter. So what we need to do now is we need to make that cookie. So go back to lesson 15. So we're not really making cookies, but we're creating an object from that class that we just worked so hard on. So now whenever you have a variable, you declare a variable. When you are creating an object, you instantiate it. Congratulations, you just learned the coolest word of the day. So instantiating is to object, as declaring is to variable. Make sense? Great. So now what we are doing is we are calling on our cookie cutter. So circle, what we had created with this code, in our constructor, this is what it wants us to send it. So look, it wants us to send a double. So we are telling it that circle is our variable type now. We're creating an object, a circle object. So not just creating like an int I, we're creating circle, and then I'm going to call it C. You can call whatever you want, it doesn't matter. And anytime you go to make a new cookie, or, new object, you have to say new. So new, and we're going to call it circle, open close parentheses, and semicolon. I just want to point out to you in circle here, notice that there is no semicolon after anything that starts with public except for the state variable. Okay, now we pointed that out. Now we need to send it something. So let's go look at circle. So our constructor is right here. It's not the class we're looking at, it's the constructor. So it's public, circle, and double. It wants us to send it a double. So go back to lesson 15, and we're going to pop a double in those parentheses. And I'm going to say like 6.2. Why not? That's a lovely double. Also, if you look at circle, the public circle double R, this is called its signature. So public, the name of it, and what it sent make up the signature. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too. So we're going to create another circle. I'll go pi. New circle. And I'm going to put in a different double. I'll put in 20.6. You can put in whatever number you like, except for what you just put in. We want to make sure it works differently. So now all we've done is we have set up a new circle C, and we're sending 6.2 to this constructor. What it's going to do is it's going to take that 6.2, it's going to save it as radius. Okay, so now we have area and we have circumference that we can use in lesson 15. So I'm going to come down a couple lines and we're going to do system.out.print line. And let's find the area of C. So we'll do C dot area, open close parentheses. And if you look at this, we have open close parentheses on area, but for circle, we have numbers. So constructors get sent information, methods return information. So if we look back at circle, constructors take in that double, methods don't have anything in parentheses. You want to make sure your signatures match. So like for area, we have nothing in the parentheses. It's just open close parentheses. So when we call on area, we only want to do open close parentheses. Okay, so we don't have any errors, so let's go ahead and run this. And check it out. It gives us back an answer, which we could use our handy dandy calculator, figure out if that is correct or not. So let's see. So we're trying to do area of 6.2 times 6.2 times 3.14, which is 120 point, rounding, whatever. So that is correct. Yay! So for pi, let's do system.out.line, and we'll do pi.circumference. Open close parentheses and semicolon at the end. So let's go ahead and run that. And it's 129, which I'm going to assume is correct. Yay! Now another thing that you can do is system.out.print and actually tell what the radius is. So if we did like c.radius, close parentheses. It's a variable. It's not a method, it's not a constructor. We don't have any other information to send it. It's just the variable. So if it runs, it prints 6.2. Okay, before we end this video, and I realize it's a little long, but before I end this video, I want to clarify something. When you are eating cookies, you do not eat the cookie cutter. Okay, just like in Java, you run the program from your main method. The main method is where you are going to run the program. You do not run it from your class. Okay, you run it from your main. So you don't eat the cookie cutters, you eat the cookies. All right, you guys are now ready for the next video for classes and objects.